Hey y'all, welcome back. Today, well, for this morning, it's just gonna be me. Megan had to work this morning, but I'm gonna be starting one of our big wintertime projects we were wanting to get done over the winter here. And finally, we've got some beautiful weather today. This is gonna give everybody spring fever right here is what's gonna happen. But anyways, I'm gonna get my excavator fired up, let it be warming up for a few minutes, and we'll walk down here and talk about what we're getting ready to do today. This is one of those projects that, I'll be honest with you, I don't necessarily want to do, but we got to do it. You can look back on some previous videos from back in the summer and late fall when we had a ton of rain. We were having a lot of problems with water down here around our, well, what we call the stable, where the goat stays and where we raised our 3 steers out this past year. And today I'm going to take care of it. And the reason I say I don't want to do it is because this was a pretty expensive project to undertake, considering what I had to buy to do it. Right there is what we'll be using today. I've got 5 20-foot sections of 15-inch corrugated pipe, double wall. You know, this is the good stuff. We're going to start digging just on the other side of this barbed wire. I'll take that down. We're going to start digging right in there, and we're going to go straight all the way over to about where my finger's pointing to. We've got another culvert pipe that comes out over there, and it goes in right here. See it there? Grass is kind of growed up around it, but it's there. And it catches all the water off of this hillside right here. When we've got a massive rainstorm, it's a creek running right down through here, and y'all probably seen, if you've been here a while, we used to have apple trees planted right in here. We had to move those because so much water flowed through here, it just wasn't doing the trees any good. We've moved them, and now they're all doing really well after we got them out of that ditch. So, the water that's coming from right there, because of the way the ground lays, all of this over here is quite a bit higher than that area right there. Now that area is catching all the water off of the barn, that comes off the barn top. There's water that comes down that bank up there off of the road, and it's catching water from behind the barn, coming from like our garden and stuff. All of it channels through right behind that barn and flows into this little nook right here. And right now, it's coming directly across all this gravel right through here. Kind of somewhat goes under my snowplow there. You can see where water's washed the gravel's up right there, which it's been a while since we've had a heavy rain. But it goes right through here and washes right down through the middle of those apple trees. So what I'm going to do is bring the culvert pipe that I put in. It will come out right over here at the end of this culvert pipe. And so all of that water, now it's going to be a lot of water to deal with right there, but all that water is going to channel through the same area and run down the same ditch. So hopefully it eliminates all the excess water that comes down through these apple trees. So you may ask, well, why is water running across your gravel pad down here? Why is that such an issue? Number one is it's washing all the gravel. This is supposed to be gravel right here. All of this is kind of getting washed away and trying to create a ditch down through here. Number two, one of the other winter projects I want to do is build us a shed right across here. This is a fairly level spot, and it's a spot that's not really used for anything. This fencing right here is just temporary. Once I get this shed right here built, I will make a more of a permanent situation as far as the way my fencing and everything runs. And as all of y'all know, we could definitely use some extra shelter space. But the water issue's got to be fixed before I put a shelter here. You probably can't tell on camera, but from that point there to where I'm going to have the pipe exit is a natural slope. That's not flat across there. So I'm not going to have a great big drop from this end to this end on my pipe. What I'm going to do is just follow the contour of the ground all the way across, and I'll keep my bucket at the same depth, and as long as I keep it with the contour of the ground, we should have plenty of fall from the front end all the way to the back. My plan is to take the blade, the front blade on the excavator there, and I'm going to try to push all this gravel, I don't know, to one side or the other. Up there it's probably going to be pretty successful at that, but right here on all this, I just don't know how well I'm going to be able to push up that gravel. My darn shoes come untied. I switched. Y'all know I've been wearing slip-on boots. Well, probably most of you know. But I got talked into some of these Carolina work boots, the lace-up style, and it's took me some getting used to. But I tell you what, I like these things so far. While I'm talking about my boots, let me show you my socks. I'll put up a shot of the website, but these socks are amazing. So these are Camel City Milling. That's the brand of the sock. And if you know anything about about North Carolina, you know that Winston-Salem has a nickname of Camel City. And it's because of the tobacco industry and everything that used to be there. It's a local company in Winston-Salem. Their products are 100% made in USA. The wool that these socks are made from is 100% raised here in the USA. They somewhat have a, if you compare them to other socks, they somewhat have a hefty price tag on them, but they have a 10-year guarantee. If this sock gets a hole in it within 10 years' time, they replace that sock free of charge. So if you factor that into the price, they're honestly probably the cheapest pair of socks you'll ever buy. But we'll leave a link down in the description for these socks. Just wanted to tell you about them. I have trouble finding socks that I like. And so far, I've worn these socks now for probably going on 2 weeks. And so far, I love them, y'all. They are comfortable. They just fit your feet well. And my feet sweat a lot, and they help out with that issue too. Check them out. There'll be a link down in the description for them. Amazing socks. So I'm gonna stick me up a flag just to mark where I'm aiming for here when I'm digging my ditch. I think I want to go like right there. It's pretty obvious where I want it to start up there because it's right beside the barn. It'd be sort of hard to keep track of exactly where I'm trying to work to without something over here to look at. So that'll give me a reference point of where I'm going. This will be the longest section of culvert pipe I've ever put in, ever. Counting all the jobs and everything I've ever done, this will be the longest section I've ever done. You want your culvert pipe in the ground as smooth as possible, and that's what my goal is here. That's the reason I've done what I've done. But anyways, let's get to digging. So I'm just going to throw these over to the side. I've got the goat that stays in here. He's penned up in the barn. I'm going to give y'all a view from it from up here so you can see more of what I'm working with. I think the slope shows up a whole lot better right here. Right here is the start of that ditch that runs out to that other culvert pipe I showed you at the beginning. All of this is way lower than that ditch. There's no way possible to tie this into that. Well, that right there looks like some nice rich dirt. I know it is big enough, but I'm going to take a quick measurement just to see what I'm dealing with, how deep I'm going to be. Oh yeah, we've got plenty of depth there for that 15-inch pipe. I always like to check, because when you're standing up, when you're sitting up on that excavator, the hole never looks as deep as it really is. That's plenty deep, plenty deep. I think I am going to have to take and fan all this right here out, but I can get in here and easily do this with the tractor. That's interesting. Still full of water too. Wonder what that went to. It's not buried very deep, whatever it is. This was obviously a water line of some sort that went somewhere at some point in time. There's one end, I ripped it there, and it goes right there, but look, it's not underground, maybe 6 inches. I have no idea what that went to. It's definitely not anything of ours. That's interesting. May have been something my grandpa had here at some point. I don't know. she's dug. Looks like I got a mess on my hands. I do got just a little bit of unevenness there, but for the most part, the bottom of that trench is pretty smooth. I ended up putting just a little bit of fall on it. Not much, considering the ground's already sloping anyways. I'll get these pipe unstrapped and I'll start laying a few of them in there. So the way these pipe work is you've got this right here. There's a rubber seal under that piece of plastic right there. And that will slide up in to this end right here, into here. You can see there's actually a lip right there that other pipe will slide up into, and it seals your connection off. So that's the last thing you want, is your pipes leaking at the joint. If they leak at the joint, you know, especially if you've got a lot of water coming through it, potentially it could eventually leak out, start to erode out and cause whatever you've got the pipe running through to start washing away, and you would just have some major problems. There we go. Perfect. Slid it right up on there. To keep it from moving, we'll just pile a bunch of dirt on it. It won't go nowhere. See if I can do this time without straining. There we go. Beautiful. I guess that is on there all the way. she's in there. But before I cover this part right here up, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this section of pipe off. This is all excess that I don't need. And right now, this little bit right here is not going down as deep as it should because I don't quite have it dug out far enough under there. So if I cut it off right there where I want it to end, it'll fall on down in my hole before I cover it up. That worked way better than I thought it would. That looks all right.
Looks like you got it done.
Well, I'm getting there. I still gotta dress up everything, smooth it all up. I got some work to do up here around the hole where it goes in.
Did you lock Lovey in there?
Yeah, Lovey's locked up in the barn.
So does the water go like how it does? Will it come down through here and go through there, come out over there?
Hopefully, that's the plan anyways. I'm gonna go get my tractor and the box blade, and I can make a whole lot quicker work of what's left here with the box blade on the tractor, and go ahead and get my fence put back up and let the goat back out. And dummy me, look here. Y'all see that broke wire? All that knotted up wire? Wasn't paying attention a while ago, and I got the bucket of the excavator stuck in it while I was pushing some dirt. I was watching the blade, wasn't watching the bucket. So go figure, now I gotta fix that. And guess who's out here riding around on his tractor today? They just got home not long ago, so such a pretty day. I guess, well, Meagan and Jacob's out here enjoying it. I have a lot of people ask what this little box is I keep on the back of this tractor. And it's a weight box. It's just back there just simply for weight. Because on these, especially on these little subcompact tractors, if you don't have weight on the back of your tractor, you ain't picking up nothing with it. Oh! That's a tiny blade, ain't it? Pick that lift up just a little. A little more. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Let it back down. You went too far.
This tractor, you put the lift up and it doesn't stop. It keeps going up until it stops.
Just barely move it. Just barely. Good to go.
Pizza dough started. It's very, very simple to make. We're going to start off with just a cup of warm water. You don't want it hot and you don't want it cold, just nice and in between there. A teaspoon of sugar and 2 teaspoons and a fourth of active dry yeast. We're going to let that sit here until it gets foamy. That'll take it 5-ish minutes. So while we're waiting on that to foam up, we're going to run down to the grocery store and grab our toppings. We're going to grab a can of sausage and a can of ground beef. This is some ground beef I canned in tomato juice. And we're going to we need our pasta sauce. I like to use what got thicker from a pizza. That looks good. So I'm also going to get dessert started. I don't know if I'll have time to finish before it's ready for my dough here, but we'll go ahead and get started. We're going to make some homemade chocolate chip cookies tonight. And I tried for years, y'all, to make good chocolate chip cookies the way that I wanted them. Not cakey, but kind of chewy, sweet. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Well, this recipe, I've kind of tweaked it here and there through the last couple of years, and it really turns out really, really good for us anyway. 6 tablespoons of melted butter, half a cup of brown sugar, and a fourth a cup of white sugar. We're going to mix that real well until those sugars and butter have mixed together and are pretty smooth. We're going to set that over to the side and do our pizza dough. To our foamy yeast mixture, we're going to add around a teaspoon of salt, around 2 to 2.5 cups of flour. This really kind of depends on the moisture in the air. I'd start with 2 and then go up from there. And a couple tablespoons of olive oil. Go ahead and get that combined. And you can see that's still sticky there, so we'll add us a little bit more flour. Now we're going to let that sit and soak up that moisture. So we'll let that sit around 5 or 10 minutes or so, and we'll get back to it. Before I get back to my cookies, I'm actually gonna fry a few bacon pieces for us to have to put on our pizza. I'm just gonna cube up. This is one of the end pieces of our bacon. When we get done slicing it, I showed y'all that a while back. And I'm just gonna cube that up into pretty small pieces, and that'll be delicious on our pizza. Back to our cookie mixture. Now I'm going to grab an egg, vanilla, all this mixed together. So we've got that nice and smooth now. Now we're going to add in a cup of all-purpose flour, 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda. And 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. So we're going to get this mixed together. Alright, pour a few milk chocolate chips in there.
Milk?
That's what these are called. It's just a different kind of chocolate. Semi-sweet chocolate chips.
They look so different.
You can't have too much chocolate. Alright.
Well,
We're going to get that mixed in there.
Is that good?
Mm-hmm. Make sure you get them about the same size, okay?
Okay.
Because if not, some of them will get done for the other ones.
Like that.
Alright, now set the next one right here.
This one?
Mm-hmm.
These right there said got it all.
Now, to make these perfect little cookies, a lot of times I'll roll them in balls, but you can also do it this way, and they're going to turn out just fine. Alright, we're going to stick these in the 325-degree oven for about 10 minutes, and we'll see what they look like.
Big rock right there I need to get at. So I'm just placing these rocks right here at the very end of my pipe. So hopefully when water comes rushing down through here, it'll help prevent it from eroding. I do need to get right here though and dig this hump of dirt out. But once I do that, I'll place these rocks a little bit better. But I think that's going to be about all I'm going to do on this pipe today. I'm going to go get this fence put back together so my goat can get out.
All right, we're going to flour our counter here, or whatever surface you're going to be working on. It's important to let your dough take that rest period. It makes it a little easier to work. I've tried it to rush the process, and it doesn't usually work out too well for me. I slowly start doing this, let it start stretching out, and then I'll pull out my rolling pin. So I'm just going to roll this out the best that I can. I don't use a rolling pin a whole lot, so just do the best that I know how.
If I worked at it a little bit more, I think I got enough gravel in there to cover back everything. That looks nice. Come on. Yep, here I was worried about you and you won't even care nothing about getting out. Thank you.
Now we gotta go back over this and plant grass on here.
Yeah, we will when it gets a little closer to spring.
Bring this second rock, or we're gonna put it in grass too.
I'm just gonna leave that tangled up. It ain't hurting nothing. I do think though, I think I'm gonna go hook up to the box blade now
Smooth this out.
and smooth all this out a whole lot better. I just can't do quite the job I want to do with that scrape blade. And for any of you that's curious, I'm gonna flag it so I miss my culvert pipe. But I think, golly at the wind. I think the corner of the building will start right here. It'll go back that way about 14 foot, and then it's going to stretch out about 40 foot that way. So it'll be like a 14 by 40. And I hope that now this has got it fixed so it ain't no water going to run under. I've got a few other small things that need to be done before I start on this building. And then this building's we're going to get started on it. At least I think we are anyways.
Now, see how nicely that has stretched out? Now comes the tricky part. Not too terrible for a girl that ain't a pizza maker. Now I'm just going to go through and ball up any extra crust. Any extra dough, and that's going to be my crust. If I see some thin spots, try to stick it back together. It's not perfect, it never is, but boy, it tastes good. So work my way around and make it kind of look like a pizza crust. That looks pretty good. Satisfactory to me anyway. Go. That looks great. Now with these cookies, you do want them still doughy and soft looking. They'll sink down and oh, they'll be so good. Now this is some of my homemade spaghetti sauce. I didn't make any of this past year. I had enough left over. I made a ton in 2023, which is the way, especially something time consuming like spaghetti sauce, kind of like the 14-day pickles. I only make those every other year. Spaghetti sauce is usually the same. I alternate one time consuming process for one summer and the other. I do 14-day pickles one year and spaghetti sauce the next. Now we love cheese around here, so there's no certain measurement to the cheese. It's all up to you. Now for the toppings. We're going to start off with a little sausage. So I'm just going to pick it out a little bit at a time, and I'm just going to go through and kind of sprinkle it. I forgot I was making part of this just cheese. There we go. Mama about messed up. Now I'm going to go ahead and bump my oven up to 425. We're going to do my canned ground beef. I also did this in 23. But I canned it in tomato juice. But I'm going to go through and put a little of that on there. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is sprinkle our bacon bits on there. I got these a little done. It'll be fine though. They'll still have a really good taste. We're going to put on some pepperonis. Unfortunately, no, I did not grow these. But we like pepperonis on our pizza, so. Now I'm gonna come back with more cheese. You don't have to do this if you don't like cheese like this, but like I said a while ago, we do. So I like to go back over, sprinkle all that with some cheese. And the good thing is, see, all this canned meat, another reason I like to use it is it's already cooked, and I don't have to stand here and pre-cook all the hamburger and all the sausage. I just had to cook that bacon. And then I like to come behind that with just a little yellow cheese to change the color up a little bit, especially on the kids' pizza there. Just a sprinkle of garlic powder around the crust. I really like that garlickiness on the crust. We're going to stick this in the oven for around 20 minutes. We'll know it's done when our crust is golden brown and all the cheese is melted. And oh, I can't wait. Y'all have to feel how much this thing weighs. See how they've kind of sunk in? And as they cool, they won't be so doughy, and they will be more chewy, and they will be wonderful.
Looks pretty good. Y'all don't know how happy I am. That's one big project this winter I can knock off the list. I am done with it. Thank goodness. It makes you feel sort of good when you can get a big one knocked off the list like this. It's, you know, it's one thing getting all those little jobs knocked off, but big one like this, I'm tickled to death. This is done.
Just pulled it out of the oven. We'll let that cool a little bit, and then we'll cut into it.
Well, that looks good.
I think so too.
And my stomach says
It's eating time.
It's eating time, yeah.
I hope it's as good as it looks. It always scares me. I hope it ain't stuck. You know, sometimes sticks.
Guess it's time to eat.
Yeah, let's get us a piece. There we go. You fix yours and I'll fix the onions.
All right. It's been a while since we've made homemade pizza.
Yep. Hope y'all can see that. It looks fabulous. But anyways, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed today's video. Hope you might have learned a little something. Until we see y'all in the next one.
Y'all have a good one.
Have a good one.